Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and well this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today guys I've got a ladder game. It is between Capoch, who is the red Protoss player in the top right. He's up against Ourk, the blue Zerg player in the lower left. That means we have got a PvZ. Now Ourk is obviously an awesome UK player. Capoch is a Argentinian player, and that means that anyone who knows kind of the football or soccer for some of you knows that the UK and Argentina don't really get on that well in sports, so let's see if that translates across to SC2. Now obviously Capoch, he's going to chuck down that pylon, he's going to be forward fast expanding. Obviously we are on Daybreak, which it's a really nice map. It's probably the players, the viewers, the casters' favourite map going, and it's just so good. It's got some really nice quirky things, and it's really nicely balanced in my opinion. It's nothing, no strategy is super awesome, so be interesting to see how this all goes down. Now, in terms of strategy, well, obviously Ourk, he should get a 14-15 pull into a kind of 16-ish hatchery, and then his third base of 45 minutes. Out of Capoch, well, we then should see the fast expansion, and then really it's up to him. Immortal Sentry all-ins work very, very well on this map, especially when you target the third base, just because it is quite a long way away. This is quite a wide area. Force fields between the hatchery and basically this wall are really, really effective, and you can pick off the third base quite nicely. Other options that we could see is obviously Capoch is a really quite a big fan of the sentry drop into the main, so obviously dead space around here is quite easy to utilise coming across here, so it'll be interesting to see whether Ourk places Overlord to deal with that. Overlord placement, this one should just pretty much go to the back here. The reason I like sending it to the back is the second Overlord can cover this spot. It also then gives you an idea on the gas timings and things like that, so that's always a nice place to put it. As you can see here, Capoch doing a great job of denying the expansion, just being a complete pain, which is brilliant. Basically, you want to be as frustrating as you can to the Zerg pylon going down. Now, a lot of Zerg players will just go for their third first in this situation, and that's due to the fact they know that the opponent's fast expanding, so you might as well. The probe down here, though, to delay this one as well, it's really, really irritating for Ourk, and as you can see, his minerals are really starting to get up higher. A pylon goes down at the third base as well. This does, of course, delay the Nexus slightly, but I think overall it's a good move to make, because Ourk's being forced to make 4 Zerglings for a start. His natural base, or second hatchery, really delayed, like, hugely now. Obviously, those Zerglings have got to come out. You usually only get 2 Zerglings as well if this doesn't occur, so 1 less drone. And then, obviously, those Zerglings don't really do much afterwards, because aside from just some map awareness, they can't offer that much more. But here we go, this pylon is getting knocked down now, so we should see the expansion coming down. But of course, we're not getting a natural until about 4 minutes. Now, it's not uncommon to see the third base chucked down in 4 minutes. It's usually about 4 minutes to 4 minutes 20. The pylon was cancelled up at the third, so that basically means that Capoch is, well, only costs him about 125 minerals, or exactly 125 minerals to do this, so that is all good. The Overlord just sitting there knows that it was a forge before Nexus, so basically Ourk just needs to be careful now for this. This little sneaky probe, which is probably going to throw down a pylon and cannon rush the third. There we go. Oh dear. This is bad times, and Ourk is going to have no clue it's going down. These Zerglings are running around everywhere, apart from where the cannon's going to be, and this is going to be hugely frustrating, because, well, basically, those Zerglings aren't going to get there in time, or it's very unlikely. A cannon should go down now, pretty much instantly. That's a very well-defended cannon. You can sometimes see even more go down. Still, these Zerglings running around everywhere, apart from where the cannon is going to go. Where else can we see things go down? Well, we've got another cannon now. 2 cannons is very stressful. And, of course, we should see now Ourk pull those Zerglings back ASAP. But, well, the first cannon already nearly finished. The Queen on its way over, trying to help deal with that. But what do you focus down? Obviously, once one cannon finishes, it can get very difficult to deal with the second one. There goes the cancel. So, of course, there is the cannon. The next one up. And, of course, now we'll see Ourk have to pull back, because those cannons are just going to be able to do too much damage. Able to build them right next to the hatchery, due completely to the fact that there's no creep yet, because the hatchery isn't finished. Ourk behind this getting up an awful lot of Zerglings. That cannon almost certainly going to get cancelled. The Queen could come around, a second Queen being brought, a Spine Caller being made. This is exactly the way you deal with this. You get a Spine Caller down, you bring the Queens, and you try and deal with it as quickly as possible. But still here, Capoch is just getting up so many cannons, and as you can see, this is hurting Ourk's drone production. He's only getting a handful of drones, a lot more cannons in the making. But actually, Ourk doing a good job of trying to keep them down. And this one cannon doing good damage, though. Doesn't quite manage to get a drone kill. That cannon does get cancelled. The next one is starting to go forward, but the cannons are now going to start focusing the queens. The Zerglings come in as well, but the Zerglings a bit of a fault on the AI there. And, well, there we go. We've got damage coming down here. That cannon gets taken out very, very quickly. And as you can see, the next cannon does manage to finish, and a second one finishes up as well. This is now going to be a lot harder for Ourk to be dealing with. Ourk behind this, having to pull back. If he loses this third hatchery this early, it's going to be a big problem for him. The Spine Crawler is finished. The Queen takes some hits, and you can't really afford to have that Queen die, and it goes down. And now, well, the Zerglings coming in. They're going to get focused. Obviously, the Spine Crawler will do well, especially with the fact that the Zerglings are soaking up quite a lot of the fire. But Ourk taking big losses, and now that Spine Crawler is going to get taken down. One cannon may fall, but the second one almost certainly won't. The Zerglings helping with a bit more fire. But there goes the Spine Crawler. Those Zerglings are going to get cleaned up as well, and still a cannon is at the natural. 14 more Zerglings have been forced, and this is really where all of the action is happening. Behind this, we do see Capoch going up for his 4 gas, and, well, the Zerglings should finally be able to clean up this photon cannon, but how much of a delay has been? Well, as you can see, Capoch is still a good 5 workers ahead, and in terms of the resources lost, well, a lot more lost for Ourk trying to defend this right now, not to mention the lost mining time. Looking around, Ourk doing the right thing. He's getting up his Rotor on an Evolution Chamber. Quite late though, usually you tend to see those a bit earlier, but of course all of Capoch's and the Protoss's timings will be a lot later due to the fact that obviously these cannon rushes took a lot of the time. There's a lull from the Protoss player who is following this up with a lot of gateways and the robotics facility. We've got a grand total of 7 gates, plus of course the robo, so that's quite amusing because, well, that's going to be quite a lot of aggression coming in. We've got the double gas as well, so we could see quite a lot of aggression follow this up. We've got the +1 Protoss weapons on the way, the +1 armor on the way as well, so yeah, as you can see, damage being done all over. We've got most of the tech that Ourk needs early game done, although he has only got those 2 gas still. He's getting the macro hatch up, which is the right thing to do, and he should start really droning heavily, as you can see, pulling ahead now. In terms of what Ourk does from here, well, he needs to spot the war prisons coming out. The drop play is very strong, but he's got that Overlord in a great position there in order to find it. That probe is going to get picked off there. Creep spread leaves a lot to be desired, but then of course a lot of early game aggression, which will knock off things like a creep spread. I'd imagine the lava injects have been less than perfect as well, just due to quite a few of the queens getting picked off. As you can see here, Ourk banking up nearly 60 energy on this queen in the main, which you can't really afford to do. So that is, well, nearly 2 whole injects mixed on that queen. As you can see here, that one about an inject mixed as well. So bit of a problem, but looking here, we do now have some units coming across. Quite a few zealots actually are on the way. There's no pylon though for the reinforcements, but we will have a war prism. A war prism is done. Where is it gone? There's the war prism up at the top there. Sentries in there, so it's going to be a sentry drop into the main, but there are roaches there. So this is great play by Ourk. Really focusing on dealing with everything, but we do have these zealots going into every base. This is a 3-prong attack. Of course, the sentries are going to be a bit of a pain. Roaches coming out everywhere. Force field manages to go down, but of course the high ground there, 1 sentry gets picked off, and, well, the zealots are going to get cleaned up exceptionally easily by roaches. Roaches engage so well against those zealots. Looking here, we've got the zealots pulling back more. We've got, of course, pylons coming down everywhere. Really aggressive play at the moment. Meanwhile, behind this, just some Immortals getting really pumped out really quite quickly. We do only have the 1 Immortal at the moment, the second one on the way. A lot of sentries, so this is an Immortal sentry follow-up. Again, really quite strong. Still the good map dominance, but the concern for basically Capoch is these roaches. They are the biggest threat going because, well, they're having to spread out everywhere for a start to really try and deal with everything, prevent these drops, but until the Immortal numbers get higher, they're going to be difficult to deal with, and Zealots are so bad against roaches, it's insane. With force fields, they're slightly better because at least they can close off the distance and deal damage, but the roaches, they're just fantastic against Zealots. It's absolutely brilliant. So, well, here's the follow-up. A lot more Stalkers added in now. That's going to help significantly. We've still got those 2 sentries and 2 Zealots, rather, in the War Prison. That's going to help the Overlord generating creep at the 3rd base, preventing the expansion for quite a long time. So, even if that gets picked off, it's about a minute for the creep to recede, I believe. So, again, that is a big delay there. Ourk, in terms of the worker count, he's still a bit short. He's pumping out an awful lot of units because he wants to start cleaning up all of these pylons and stuff. Now, the roaches are going to see those Stalkers. They're going to get taken out fairly quickly, even if they run away. We've got all the units following on to that. The pylon is definitely going to go down, but the Stalkers managed to back out at the moment. And actually, we're seeing here the Capoch really trying to lead all of this Zerg army into a corner, allowing him to get a very good attack arc, and he could position himself ideally between the Zerg army and the 3rd base. And as you can see, Ourk with a lot more money in the bank there. 3 Immortals are out. Some good force fields go down, but you can see the Zealots aren't able to engage because of those force fields. The Zerglings pull back. Ourk took very minimal losses there. And as you can see, the resources lost have now completely switched. So that basically just means that obviously Ourk is engaging more cost effective than his opponent now. But the concern is, of course, upgrades. There's no upgrades for Ourk compared to the 1-1 of the Protoss. Here we go, we've got big engagement coming in. A full surround by the Zerg players. Some force fields go down, but they're less than ideal. All three of the Immortals are still up, but they are getting focused down. One falls, the second one to the right here does manage to micro itself away. The third Immortal in the center of the fray seems to be doing well, but finally gets picked off. But of course, one has survived, and it looks like most of Ourk's army was taken down there. And that was very, very cost effective for the Protoss player, who has leveled up in terms of resources lost, which is great. The War Prism allowing for those Warpins, making this so much stronger. We do have more pylons around everywhere. We've got more Warpins coming in. Spinecall is just finishing up, but of course the Immortal really does such high damage against buildings. Stalk is engaged very well as well. That War Prism is not going to go down, so that's allowing more Warpins. And of course, Ourk looking like he's going to lose his third base. He's already pulled back the drones in preparation for that. And, well, this is absolutely devastating to watch. Capoch could go on to win this game right now. If we look at the army supply, well, he's ahead by 20 army supply. He hasn't killed many workers, but in terms of the loss tab, the Zerg player coming out a lot worse. Drones are going around the back, trying to get out of there. I'm not quite sure where those drones are going. Just trying to get us around on a single seller right now. Fungal growth going down there is, of course, very, very good. That helps the damage hugely, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Second Immortal has joined in the mix right now. That is helping. More fungal growths are on their way down, but so many drones getting killed right now. 24 already down. We do see now the Protoss players, 8 workers ahead. The Spinecall is getting picked off. These infestors have no energy on them, and they do burrow to try and get out there, but of course an Observer in the mix allows them to still get picked off. But Ourk is forcing this force back at the moment. He's not doing terribly, but of course losing that third base is a big problem. He's been incredibly careful. He's only got a handful of units coming back, so this could be very, very difficult to deal with, especially when that fungal growth didn't hit as maximum number of units it could have done. Should clean up that sentry though, so that is okay. Ourk leaves the game, and Capoch really played that quite solidly, I must say. He did a good job there. So anyway guys, if you did enjoy the game, please subscribe, leave a cool comment, like the video, etc. But I will most importantly catch you tomorrow for yet another new game. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for